Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this is how it usually works. Usually I go over a bunch of different stories, which I plan on doing right now, and you get your questions and your comments in as we go over them, which we're also going to do via both YouTube and Rockfin, as we are fully demonetized on YouTube. If you'd like to skip the line, you know the deal. There's a Tipsky and Hutch method that goes right to the phone, and we will address them. And actually, I'm going to talk about some of the tips I've already gotten earlier. Okay? Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about before we even get into the news that I'm going to cover. The Saints, for instance, only charging $1 for tickets. Tickets going for $1 because of the slave passes. All right, and that's a good thing, but it also shows you that these people are willing to lose money because this really isn't about money. It's about control of the resources. And the main resource right now is to get control of your mind so they can take over your body fully. Okay, that's the reality. Okay, and the other thing, the reason we're calling this the Biden Resignation Party AMA is while we go over these news stories and such, we're waiting on Joe Biden to come out and discuss Kabul or Kabul. I mean, I don't want to mispronounce it. I don't want to make light of any of these situations. But I also don't want to play into the fact that Joe Biden runs anything. So who cares about his resignation? You've got a zombie in there that can barely read off a teleprompter, okay, that was literally put into office in one of the most obvious coups d'etats, followed by a militarization of D.C. and the Capitol. And the demonization, on another level, the criminalization, in many respects, of American citizens. So a lot of people are saying, oh, let's call for his resignation. Let me explain something. No matter what happens in this country or abroad via foreign policy and our troops and innocent people, and no matter what happened there, because I'm not speculating. I'm not saying that it's the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or ISIS or anything like that. I'll tell you what it is. It's death, destruction, and chaos. And no matter what, it can be capitalized on. Period. So it's almost a moot point, especially, again, because the emperor has no clothes. So I want to assure everybody there will be a time where things get so bad that more than likely, you are correct, Biden will have to step down, but that is not in the immediate future. The only way that Biden steps down in the immediate future is if he's literally out on stage somewhere and he falls ill there. He has a heart attack, a stroke, he wets himself, just something just so over the top, like he faints and hits his head, that would be a wrap, because they've got a lot of use out of that zombie, and they intend to get a lot more. They have not put Kamala Harris as the face of this administration. They have not had her speaking much. And remember, these are authoritarians. They are continuing to use COVID 1984 for their own purposes, and we even had a Freudian slip out of Jen Psaki. I mean, when she says this and, you know, everybody acts like, oh, it was just a mistake, these people know exactly what they're doing. Joe doesn't, because Joe probably can't remember much anymore. And it's sad, you know. Joey B., the great gangster, finally gets to sit atop his throne, right? His figurehead throne. He gets to do that. And I mean, he is just selling us all out and signing us all over. Period. And when I say us, I mean humanity in general, all across the board. Okay? So, here's the deal. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, share, get your questions and comments in both. If you do want to skip the line, you know the deal. The tips on Rockfin, we've been fully demonetized well over a year and a half. Right now, by the way, Ray token making a run at $2, right at that mark. And you can now get that on Uniswap, and it helps power the Rockfin network. So, and it helps support this broadcast. I want to thank all those people out there that continue to support me through Rockfin. Remember, right now, you get a whole year for $100. You save $20. You lock it in. You endorse Jason Burmis. You get everybody's premium content. You support this program. So, that being said, I do want to say thank you out there to, we said Glenn Combs, Diane Otis, thank you so much. Arthur Larson, we appreciate you. Azadullah Modari, thank you so much. Dallas of Odd, great news about your cousin. Yes, for those that don't know, that didn't tune in earlier today, my cousin is now off the vent and awake. Thank God. My aunt is still on a vent. I am still extremely unhappy with their care and what took place and is still taking place because we're not out of the woods yet. Okay? But I'm very happy. Let's just say that. You know, it's funny. I know some of you has saw my last couple videos that are only on YouTube because they're on my phone. But, you know, before me and Militich did this video in front of the Raccoon Motel in Davenport, Iowa, which I suggest nobody ever go to again. And if you do see somebody associated there, say, hey, these passports should get you sued. I hope you get out of business, period. Because we're not doing the slave pass here in Iowa. And you disguise it any way you want. You say it's because of the artist. I don't care. Okay, that's not a thing. I don't want your slave pass. So don't go there and drink. Let them know. We're not going to your bar on other times, period. Anyway, before I did that, Militich was following me out, and he heard me literally just dropping F-bombs by myself. And the thing was, I was just kind of cursing to myself because I was so upset that I can't reach my family on the level I need to. And I can't reach every human being on the level I feel I need to. And that's, I hope you guys are helping. I know a lot of you are. And I know it's frustrating because just like me, you can't reach everybody. Lou Welch sent me a $5 tip. Love you, man. You're a creators, conspiracy realist, educator, activist, truther, organizer, reader, socializer, hero, truthing. I'm not a truther, I'll say that. We the people, strictly nonviolent. I am. Revolution of awareness, a reformation of the Constitution. Hopiates in line. LouWelge.com is aligned with you, good sir. Thank you, and namaste. Thank you. Okay, so we're still waiting on Biden. I do want to address something really quick. I waited to do that Spike Lee video. I almost did it last night, but I do want to show you, and I want to shout out to Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth for sending me this, that they did say they were going to remove those, I even texted somebody about it, and basically said that they were going to get rid of architects and engineers altogether. Now, they flipped on that. So I didn't just imagine it. I wasn't just like misreporting. I had read the article the night before, and it got switched around. That's why I was kind of confused as I went through it. It's like, what is going on here? So I still don't think the guy should have re-edited the film. I want to make that extremely clear. All right? So, again, we're waiting on Biden, but there's so many stories that I wanted to get to here. One of them I'm just going to mention because I wouldn't want to get medical misinformation, but we'll put this in the YouTube chat. And all you rock finners out there, I'm sure you can read the headline. I think this is Simon Naylor that sent me this. Shout out to Simon Naylor, always sending me good stuff. And by the way, shout out to Ben Swan. This has a criminally low view count here. Okay, he's in France, on the ground, under 10,000 views as of today. Criminally low view count. Ben Swan on the ground with people that are protesting and realize, hey, this is the takeover. This is global. You need to understand this. Digital passports and QR codes and mandates are not freedom. They will never take their authoritarian boots off your neck if you submit to this. It will be continually rolling. I don't want your social credit score. I don't want your surveillance society. I don't want your transhumanism. Sorry, not me. So shout out to Ben. But let's go back to that headline right there. You see it, COVID-19 84. Fully boop people can carry as much Delta as the unboop-booped. Data indicates. And this one was published on the 19th. Anybody can go read this. Okay, I would encourage you to go check out the source data yourself because there's a lot of talking points out there that are not, I repeat, not in line with reality. Reality. It's a kooky thing. I get it. A lot of people can't handle it these days. But let's just hear what Jen Psaki had to say. Okay? Just,
COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic
Oh, you're going to address what now? Okay. Well, maybe let's take it back.
COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic. COVID-19.
Sorry, I wanted to hammer it home. You know, I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to let people honestly know what's going on. I mean, that's a Freudian slip. You know, she knows what she's doing. This is a sociopathic social climber that knows she works on behalf of a puppet administration. She knows that Joe Biden is not in charge at all. It's like not a thing. Oh, Corinne Wilson, she's got a great channel here as well, a cult priestess. Jason, you've mentioned evil more lately. I'd like some insight as to why this subtle change in your speech. I agree with you. Thank you. Because it is outright evil, because these people know what they're doing. And I guess that I'm just a little bit more emotionally bound as I see the effects directly on my family members physically. It's evil. And I've always said that I believe in good and evil above all else. I think that they are forces in nature that are real. I think they are parts of not only just dogma or learned behavior or morality, but they are sewn into the very fabric of what makes human beings human. Into our consciousness, whatever you want to call it, our soul, if you want to go there. Okay? And this is evil. There is no other way to put it. I'm not for the suffering of humanity on any level, and this is, in fact, evil, period. That's it. I don't know what else to say. And, you know, Jen Psaki knows she works on behalf of evil. That's why. Let's see. We got another couple of these. Thank you, guys. Gardy Lou, thank you very, very much. And Chris Keogh, thank you so much for the tipskis and hutch. They do help support the broadcast. So we're still waiting on, Zombie Joe. They said that he was supposed to take the podium about 20 minutes ago, but, who knows what they got to get him up with. So we've talked about this, but it's happening. And just like we showed you Ben Swan in France and what's going on there and the thousands of people out there, please go check that video. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, more people in the street than you can imagine. New York City, again, you can go to my Twitter feed. You can watch people marching there. They're not going to cover that in this country. They're the teachers union. Unions are fighting this, okay? And they're trying to get all of these different organizations to acquiesce through really coercion and bribery. And Apple, Samsung, Google, again, it's all prepackaged. It's all prepackaged. People think that, I'll just get, an off-brand phone. That's not how it works. When they say Google, that's the operating system. The reason they're saying Samsung is because they'd like to have an extra backdoor into the hardware, as a lot of people are taking some of these Google phones and putting Lineage OS on them or Graphene OS, which I'm still very suspect of, which I don't know. It does less more than likely. Yeah. Does it get rid of all of it? Come on now. So this one, even the headline's really deceptive. If you get into the numbers here, and by the way, we're also going to get into some quantum computing in this. Remember, get your questions and comments in now, guys. We are going to scroll through. Heavy-duty N95 and KN95 masks are the best at warding off you-know-what-ski. While commonly worn surgically in cloth, face coverings filter only about 10% of exhaled erosis, according to a new study. Of course, we've been saying this from the beginning. We've been saying it from the beginning. Unless you were using one of these type of masks, all right, it was basically useless. That means 90% of everything gets through on the reg. Okay? So you see 12.4 and 9.8% respectively. This is the University of Waterloo. Okay? You don't see that anywhere, by the way. Western states face first federal water cuts. What does that mean? That means they want a smart city integration through false false resource shortages to control you through smart grids. That's exactly what this is. This is the takeover. Get ready. And why are they saying they're doing it? Oh, climate change, because it's devastated Colorado. U.S. declares water delivery reductions. These cyber attacks, okay, this scarcity, it's engineered. It's engineered to make you feel bad as a human being, to blame you, to say that your standard of living isn't enough. And quite frankly, it's utter bullshit. But again, this isn't just about money. It's about control. And that's why you can get a ticket for $1 if you're willing to submit to the slave pass. You understand? You get it? A lot of people don't want to submit to the slave pass, but you want to go to the preseason game? They sold for $1. $1. Why? Oh, because you'll have to have your little slave card, right? Or your QR code, or a recent negative test. None of these venues, no job, nobody but me is privy to any medical procedure that I have had taken place unless I want to volunteer that information to them. And there shall be no requirements surrounding that. Period. That's why they can't ask. You get it? This is madness. So listen, they're willing to bite the bullet financially because they know they'll get bailed out, number one. And number two, again, it's about all the resources in control. It's not about money. Okay? Let's make that extremely clear. Let's get the thumbs up over there. Can we get over 100 thumbs? Like I said, shout out to Ben Swan. And like I said again, Spike Lee. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I don't want to reserve my judgment because I don't think there was any reason to go into the editing room. But it's really weird that the news story last night was remove everything. Okay? And then today, it's something totally different. It also, that kind of does speak to our culture. That there's just such flip-flopping and, just Johnny nonsense out there. Okay. We've said all that, and I think that we are ready to go. As I said, we're waiting on Joe Biden. And we'll probably be waiting a while on Joe Biden. There we go. So let's get in here. And again, I want to thank everybody that has been supporting me over at Rockfin. Make that free account today. And then if you do want to make that premium account, lock in or start buying Ray. Invest in the network. That doesn't directly help me in any way. That helps the network stay alive and flourish, and people understand that there's a real investment there. Just saying. Pigzar says, hi, Jason, Australia has fallen. Yes, it's crazy. I watched a video today. I was trying to find it. Hopefully somebody can DM it to me. Just like I'm waiting for a DM of an actual premium Paramount account. Somebody tried to DM me them signing up kind of sort of for a free account, but then even with this is why I'm not doing it. Even with the 7-day account, they want a credit card or a PayPal account. So again, if you happen to have a free or you pay for a premium Paramount account, I want to clip this one program from 60 Minutes, and I can't do so. I don't want to sign up for Paramount Plus, but if you have it, DM it to me. Thank you. I totally forgot what I was talking about before that, right? Oh, yeah. DM me this video of these goons, these police officers in bulletproof vests, full hazmat uniforms, taking a woman from her home and putting her in a cage to take her to a quarantine center. Okay, that's real. That's happening. It's crazy how badly Australia has fallen. Heading to Rockfin after hitting that like button. Well, thank you, duck-loving mom. We love those duck lovers. Duck-loving mom. Would you debate Caleb Mopin on the effectiveness of socialism and communism? I don't know who that is. Would I debate them? Are they looking to debate me? Is that something that's supposed to happen? R.I.P. Aaliyah, 20 years we lost an angel. And Aaliyah, of course, was the young woman who was not only an R&B artist, but the person that was sexually abused and married R. Kelly as a child, basically. You know, whose family sold her out to the entertainment industry, pimped her out. Just want to point that out there. Considering how quiet the allies in the Middle East have been and who is visiting the White House today, what are your thoughts on the chances of this being a false flag? Again, I'm not even weighing in without knowing the facts. All I know is the chaos right now in Afghanistan is engineered. Look, these guys fought, whether you like Trump or hate Trump, they fought Trump all the way on actually leaving and his plans to escape that. But look, Joey B has taken the podium, so we're going to go to Joe Biden.
Attacked that we've been talking about and worried about, that the intelligence community has assessed, has undertaken an attack by a group known as ISIS-K.
ISIS-K, this is all bullshit.
American service members standing guard at the airport and wounded several others seriously. He had also wounded a number of civilians, and civilians were killed as well. I've been engaged all day in constant contact with the military commanders here in Washington, the Pentagon, as well as in Afghanistan and Doha. And my commanders here in Washington in the field have been on this with great detail, and you've had a chance to speak to some so far. The situation on the ground is still evolving, and I'm constantly being updated. These American service members who gave their lives, it's an overused word, but it's totally appropriate here, were heroes. Heroes who've been engaged in a dangerous, selfless mission to save the lives of others. They're a part of an airlift, an evacuation effort unlike any seen in history.
Yeah, a terrible scene. Like and just an incompetent scene. You know, again, all this is on purpose, guys. Like ISIS-K. And again, you saw them warn that this was going to happen. You know, within 24 hours, all of a sudden they can't stop it at all. Like, what is going on?
In the safety in the last 11 days. Just in the last 12 hours or so, another 7,000 have gotten out. They were part of the bravest, most capable, the most selfless military on the face of the earth. And they're part of simply what I call the backbone of America.
You know, is that why, you know, Eric Prince's mercenary group is taking people out to the tune of 6K plus? Again, showing class warfare even at that level. That, look, if you've got that kind of money, look, I'm not usually for mercenaries, but if you're trying to get out of a country, who are you depending on? The military that has been really fucked over by those in charge on purpose, the predator class, okay? Or the mercs that have been created by that predator class to ensure their safety most of the time.
Diagnosed, like many, many coming home, with an aggressive and lethal cancer of the brain. We lost. We have some sense, like many of you do, what the families of these brave heroes are feeling today. You get this feeling like you're being sucked into a black hole in the middle of your chest. There's no way out. My heart aches for you. But I know this. We have a continuing obligation, a sacred obligation to all of you, families of those heroes. That obligation is not temporary, it lasts forever. The lives we lost today were lives given in the service of liberty, the service of security, the service of others, in the service of America. Like their fellow brothers and sisters in arms who died defending our vision and our values in the struggle against terrorism, of the fall on this day They're part of a great and noble company of American heroes. To those who carried out this attack, as well as anyone who wishes America harm, know this: we will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay. I will defend our interests and our people with every measure at my command. Over the past few weeks, I know many of you are probably tired of hearing me say it, we've been made aware by our intelligence community that the ISIS-K, an arch enemy, the Taliban, people who were freed when both those prisons were opened, has been planning a complex set of attacks on the United States personnel and others. This is why, from the outset, I've repeatedly said this mission was extraordinarily dangerous, and why I've been so determined to limit the duration of this mission. As General McKenzie said, this is why our mission was designed, this is the way it was designed to operate.
And let me say this, he's stumbling a little bit now. Who knows how much they've had him hopped up today? Who knows how long he's been awake? I mean, he's reading from a script here. The only time that he almost got choked up, when he was talking about those people dying and getting sucked into the black hole, I guarantee he started thinking about his son. I mean, the guy's shot, folks. He's shot. He doesn't care about these heroes. Do you think Joe knows? Let's be honest. Do you think they even briefed him of the names of the soldiers who got killed? Do you think if they did brief him of the names of the soldiers he got killed, he could remember any of their names, or he would even want to? Would even care? It's a joke.
Moment of our choosing. Here's what you need to know. These ISIS terrorists will not win. We will rescue the Americans in there. We will get our Afghan allies out. And our mission will go on. America will not be intimidated. And I have the utmost confidence in our brave service members who continue to execute this mission with courage and honor to save lives and get Americans, our partners, our Afghan allies out of Afghanistan. Every day when I talk to our commanders, I ask them what they need. What more do they need, if anything, to get the job done? As they will tell you, I granted every request. I reiterated to them today on 3 occasions that they should take the maximum steps necessary to protect our forces on the ground in Kabul. And I also want to thank the Secretary of Defense and the military leadership of the Pentagon and all the commanders in the field. There has been complete unanimity.
So he's thanking failure on top of all this. And you know, they're asking him what they need. He's just a blank check.
To achieve those objectives. Those who have served through the ages have drawn inspiration from the book of Isaiah, when the Lord says, "Whom shall I send? Who shall go for us?" The American military has been answering for a long time. "Here I am, Lord, send me. Here I am, send me."
So now he invokes God. Okay.
Each one of these women and men of our armed forces are the heirs of that tradition of sacrifice, of volunteering to go in harm's way, to risk everything, not for glory, not for profit, but to defend what we love and the people we love.
Did you hear that lie? Not for profit? I mean, this is bullshit.
Beautiful. Military and civilian have given the last full measure of devotion.
Is this where he has his heart attack? What's going on here? Is this it? Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Thank you.
What?
May God bless you all, and may God protect His troops and all those standing watch for America. We have so much to do. It's within our capacity to do it. We just have to remain steadfast. Steadfast. We will complete our mission, and we will continue after our troops have withdrawn to find means by which we can find any American who wishes to get out of Afghanistan. We will find them and we will get them out. Ladies and gentlemen, they gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on was Kelly O'Donnell of NBC.
So, I mean, wow. Guys, I mean, first of all, I'm kind of even surprised that he's about to take staged questions. I mean, we're going to get staged questions now. Because who is instructing you to call on people first? What's going on? I mean, I thought he was done. I thought when his head went down there for a good minute, it was over.
Military, whatever they need, if they need additional force, I will grant it. But the military, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the commanders in the field, have all contacted me one way or another, usually by letter, saying they subscribe to the mission as designed to get as many people out as we can within the time frame that is allotted. That is the best way they believe to get as many Americans out as possible and others. And with regard to finding, tracking down the ISIS leaders who ordered this, we have some reason to believe we know who they are, not certain, and we will find ways of our choosing without large military operations to get them wherever they are. Trevor, Reuters.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's been some criticism, even from people in your party, about the dependence on the Taliban to secure the perimeter of the airport. Do you feel like there was a mistake made in that regard?
No, I don't. Look, I think General McKenzie handled this question very well. The fact is that we're in a situation, we inherited a situation, particularly since, as we all know, that the Afghan military collapsed 11 days before, in 11 days, that
it's embarrassing.
It is in the interest of, as McKenzie said, in the interest of the Taliban, that in fact ISIS-K does not metastasize beyond what it is, number one. And number two, it's in their interest that we are able to leave on time, on target. And as a consequence of that, the major things we've asked them, moving back the perimeter, giving more space between the wall, stopping vehicles from coming through, etc., searching people coming through. It is not what you'd call a tightly commanded, regimented operation like the U.S. is, the military is, but they're acting in their interest. And so, by and large, and I've asked this same question to military on the ground, whether or not it's a useful exercise. No one trusts them. We're just counting on their self-interest to continue to generate their activities.
This guy can barely speak. I mean, my God.
When we said, and that we get as many people out as we can. Like I said, even in the midst of everything that happened today, over 7,000 people we've gotten out, over 5,000 Americans over. So it's not a matter of trust, it's a matter of mutual self-interest. But there is no evidence thus far that I've been given as a consequence by any of our commanders in the field that there has been collusion between the Taliban and ISIS in carrying out what happened today, both in front of the hotel and what is expected to continue.
Oh, expect to continue to happen. Great.
Today.
Great.
Amir, Associated Press.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have spoken, again, powerfully about your own son and the weight of these decisions. With that in mind, and also what you've said, that the longer we stay, the more likelihood that there would be a major attack. How do you weigh staying even one more day, considering what's happened?
Because I think what America says matters. What we say we're going to do in the context in which we say we're going to do it, that we do it, unless something exceptional changes. There are additional American citizens. There are additional green card holders.
I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to put it on mute. We're going to go back to your questions and comments, guys. I'm sorry. This is just too much. Can we get some thumbs up? This is tough to watch. I mean, people fawning over Joe Biden like he's running anything. That's the press. Those are the authoritative sources. Get out of here with that. Rob Mantle says, love you, brother. Have a blunt on me. Appreciate that, sir. We appreciate that over at the Rockfin. You know, a place where free speech rules. I'm telling you, don't sleep on that Ray token, folks. Don't you sleep on it. All right, let's keep going through. F the NFL, New Orleans is a shizhole. Oh, that's a big jumpins. That's a big jumpins. Let's go back upins. Oh, wow. We probably missed a lot. Do you think he would even ask F no? What's this say? Bullshiz, the lives lost today were because of the stupidity of their country. What? I mean, right now, the lives, from what he said, the lives lost today is, again, because we never built the infrastructure they said they were going to. We literally beta tested our biometrics. We gave out military contracts. We took over big-time resources. We made it a huge opiate producer again. I mean, those are just some of the base reasons. Let's see. Cold a mirror in his face? I don't know what that means. Let's see what we have. What's this? Oh, let's see. What do we got? Too late. The grandstanding will not stand, Joe. Okay. Who's going to say it? We were safe on the Trump. I wouldn't go with that either. Listen, again, Trump was never really in charge. If Trump was really in charge, guess what? We wouldn't have Jimmy Mattis or Bolton involved or Pompeo or any of those people. Or Barr. Those guys managed the situation, at least publicly, for Trump. And gave him bad intel and info. There's a slew of other people behind the scenes that never left the bureaucracy. Okay? Just saying. Let's see. Go to the Capitol. This time we will remove them. Garbage administration. So who exactly is the enemy of the U.S., ISIS or the Taliban? Don't you get it? Doesn't matter. It's whoever's convenient. That's my point. That's what people need to realize. It's whoever's convenient. It's a sliding scale of awful all the time. Period. That's what this is. And there is no excuse for it, in my opinion, at all. Period. I don't know what else to say. Let's continue to go. Let's see. This dude is not in charge. No, he's not. I don't know what that means. Yep, this is cringe, garbage human, all. With our effing tax money. Listen, man, the money is like as over as it gets. They're trying to get you on a slave UBI. They're trying to take out as many small businesses. And here's the thing. They're going to start taxing. You know how they're already slipping it in there that it's going to cost you more in insurance premiums if you don't get the whatever they demand you put in your body? What totally illegal and ridiculous. They're going to make it so that small businesses are going to have to go with this well and health and a safety seal. There's going to be all sorts of cash grabs on top of these nightmares. You get it? Duke Tomlinson, let's see. He left bundles of cash too, but the CIA may have brought that. Who knows what's happening there? My grandfather would have kicked his ass just on principle. Waxing poetic. Worst number of U.S. casualties in Afghanistan since 2012. Who was the VP then? And again, like they gaslight you, like when Joey B, was Joey B, and he wasn't just Zombie Joe. Period. I totally agree with that. So let's continue on. Joe Biden's still talking. I can't believe he's conscious. Let's just tune into Joe Biden just for a second.
I'm board a plane tomorrow. It sounds ridiculous, but the vast majority of people in communities like that want to come to America, given a choice. So getting every single person out can't be guaranteed by anybody, because there's a determination all who wants to get out as well. At any rate, it's a process. I was really pointing to you, but you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are reports that U.S. officials provided the Taliban with names of Americans and Afghan officials to evacuate. Were you aware of that? Did that happen? And then, sir, did you personally reject a recommendation to hold or to recapture Bagram Air Force Base?
Here's what I've done. Let's answer the last question first. On the tactical questions of how to conduct an evacuation or a war, I gather up all the major military personnel that are in Afghanistan, the commanders, as well as the Pentagon. And I ask for their best military judgment. What would be the most efficient way to accomplish the mission? They concluded, the military, that Bagram was not much value added, that it was much wiser to focus on Kabul. And so I followed that recommendation. With regard to, there are certain circumstances where we've gotten information, and quite frankly, sometimes from some of you, saying you know of such and such a group of people are trying to get out, they're on a bus, they're moving, from other people. And this is their location. And there have been occasions when our military has contacted their military counterparts in the Taliban and said, this, for example, this bus is coming through.
Oh, it's hard watching, guys. It's hard watching. Let's keep going, okay? Everyone who voted for him has blood on their hands. I don't disagree. That what, yes, agree mission will go on war, and more war. The U.S. is the enemy of the U.S. OBS. Trump is a tool. He wants to shove that needle in everyone. I'm not defending Trump or his stance on any of the boop boops. Fake Christian. The fresh press of D.C. must resign now or be impeached. No excuses. Again, unless he physically goes out, because he's leaving right now. Look, already, he just grabbed it. He just grabbed his little book. Hold on.
That's you.
Mr. President, there had not been a U.S. service member killed in combat in Afghanistan since February of 2020. You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibility for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you'd one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban that he would get all American forces out of Afghanistan by May 1. In return, the commitment was made, and that was a year before. In return, he was given a commitment that the Taliban would continue to attack others, but would not attack any American forces. Remember that?
Did they?
I'm being serious. No, I'm asking you a question. Because before... No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate, the best of your knowledge? What?
Do you think that people have an issue with pulling out of Afghanistan or just the way that things have happened?
I think they have an issue that people are likely to get hurt. Some, as we've seen, have gotten killed, and that it is messy. The reason why, whether my friend will acknowledge it or has reported it, the reason why there were no attacks on Americans, as you said, from the date until I came into office, was because the commitment was made by President Trump, I will be out by May 1st. In the meantime, you agree not to attack any Americans. That was the deal. That's why no American was attacked.
What's your point?
Squarely stand by your decision to pull out.
Yes, I do, because look at it this way, folks. And I have another meeting for real. But
For real.
imagine where we'd be if I had indicated on May the 1st I was not going to renegotiate an evacuation date. We were going to stay there. I'd have only one alternative: pour thousands of more troops back into Afghanistan to fight a war that we had already won relative to why the reason we went in the first place. I have never been of the view that we should be sacrificing American lives to try to establish a democratic government in Afghanistan, a country that has never once in its entire history been a united country and is made up, I don't mean this in a derogatory, made up of different tribes who have never, ever, ever gotten along with one another. And so, as I said before, and this is the last comment I'll make, we'll have more chance to talk about this, unfortunately, beyond, because we're not out yet. If Osama bin Laden, as well as al-Qaeda, had chosen to launch an attack when they left Saudi Arabia out of
Pakistan?
would we have ever gone to Afghanistan? Even though the Taliban completely controlled Afghanistan at the time, would we have ever gone? I know it's not fair to ask you questions, it's rhetorical, but raise your hand if you think we should have gone and given up thousands of lives.
I don't know which one he said. It looked like he said Japan.
And tens of thousands of wounded. Our interest in going was to prevent al-Qaeda from reemerging, first to get bin Laden, wipe out al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, prevent that from happening again. As I've said 100 times, terrorism is metastasized around the world. We have greater threats coming out of other countries, a heck of a lot closer to the United States. We don't have military encampments there. We don't keep people there. We have over-the-horizon capability to keep them from going after us. Ladies and gentlemen, it was time to end a 20-year war. Thank you so much.
That's just a hard watch all the way around for so many reasons. For so many reasons. I mean, my goodness. My goodness. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Demonic, really? How many ISIS K got mixed in with a refugee, Sleepy Joe? He's got the Bible. Here we go. Everyone is our enemy. Impeach Joker Joe. Ugh. I don't even know what to say, guys. I'm going to skip down all the way right down to here to the bottom. Let's see if we got anything else. Raise your hand, withdraw. Did he quote the Lord? He did a lot of things that were like just totally ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. Listen, we went it for almost an hour. Thumbs it up. Subscribe and share. If you're watching on Rockfin, there are a couple of videos over on YouTube you haven't seen. And if you're watching on YouTube, go make the free account at the very least. I want to thank everybody that did tip me and does support me over there. Remember, the links are down below on how you can support the broadcast. It's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. I love you, and I will see you on the flip side.